VVVIP.
Baba Tobi, hey. If you become the president, Igara me up, my shoulder will be higher than Shoulder Pada. Igara talking. I'll just be dashing money up and down.
No. Which money are you dashing?
Oh, no, Baba Tobi, so you won't give me money?
That money is the money that my own that I give you. You can even employ a special assistant for money distribution. Thank you very much.
Yes, it's nice to see you. Now, straight up, let me say that we used to be neighbors. We lived in the same estate before, right? And of course, in the course of our professions, we have met in the course of our careers, not professions, because we're in the entertainment profession, right? Now, to the person out there, who is Akin Lewis?
Well, Akin Lewis, I normally say that what you see is what you get. I'm an embodiment of so many things.
Share it with us.
Okay. People don't know that I read drama. Actually, I have a master's degree, first class, in acting and directing.
Okay.
Yes, and I got trained at NTA Ibadan. It was NTV in those days. Yeah. For about 10 years, just to be a producer, an actor, and a director. And then, because people just see you and they don't know. Others don't even know that I also worked in the corporate world. And I did that for about 22 years, combining both, and at directorate level, really. And I'm a well-traveled person. I speak languages. And, like I said, what you see is what you get.
So tell me about your background. Early years.
Yes. I remember that I grew up in the north, in Zaria.
So you speak Hausa?
Oh, I do. I speak several languages.
Wow.
But I speak Hausa. And growing up in the north was rugged, because in those days, it wasn't well developed. Zaria wasn't as developed
as it is
today, and the weather was dry, hard, harsh, and all of that. But we used to live in the GRA, the quarters, they used to call it in those days. And big compound, had neighbors that you hardly see, so I had dogs, and with my sister, we were all doing that. But when the pogrom started, that thing that led to the Civil War?
Yes.
I was almost killed. Matter of fact, I was killed.
Say that again.
I was almost killed. Yeah. But in the mind of the fellow who did it, he killed me already.
Tell me that.
Yeah, because what they did was, as it is, I was a lot lighter, and then I have this mark. Okay. And then, so I passed easily for an Igbo boy. Wow. And that's what they didn't bother to find out. This mark, which I got from a broken bottle.
Yeah, I was going to say, how did that come?
I fell into the gutter years before. And so that had healed. My father said he shouldn't stitch it. So that my eyes, but when they saw it now, they thought I was Igbo. Yeah. They said, Yumiri. Yeah. And so they just tousled me up like a goat. Yes. And put the knife there. What saved my life was that he now started to chant this whatever. Yeah, and then my mother came running out of the house. Somebody had told her, and she just barged indoors, and everybody was, Now my mother, until she died, was very fair-skinned, really fair. Yeah. And that was where I got my color from then. And then she had tribal marks. You see? That was another thing that saved us. Wow. Because she didn't have, they would have killed her first.
Oh, okay. Where was she from?
Ibadan.
Okay.
Ibadan. Yeah, she's from the royal family in Ibadan. So she had this Ila from Ibadan, and that all saved us. So eventually, when everybody settled down, they knew my father. They just didn't know that I was his son. And so when everybody settled down, it was like, okay, is him, sorry. And then they went across the road, killed somebody else in lieu, and then they said, okay, that's it. You should forgive us. So then they left.
So that's how you actually were killed?
Yeah, I didn't die, but that's how I was killed. And then my father came back, and that's how he sent everybody down south.
he remained there.
He remained, yeah, working. He sent them
Where was he working there?
in the railways. He was an engineer, you know, and that's how we came back home. And the war started from all of those killings.
Now you returned to Ibadan.
To Ibadan, you know, had to do primary 6 again, and then got into secondary school and Lagelu Grammar School.
Okay.
Yeah, and well, I'm proud of that school.
Yes.
That's the school that the former governor attended.
Which one of them?
Ajimobi.
Ajimobi.
Yeah, Isiaka Ajimobi.
Okay, so he
was my senior.
You're all right.
And then you remember Penkile Mess?
Yes.
Who was the running? He was my junior.
Oh, that's the one who ran against Ajimobi and even ran against
Makinde.
Makinde.
Yeah, that's right.
That's Adelabu.
That's right, Labu. So that's where we all went, and later on I went to Ife. Studied drama under Shoyinka.
Okay, and then that's how you got into NTV.
The point is, I actually got into NTA before I went to Ife.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah. Because when I finished, immediately I finished secondary school, I joined a troop. A troop led by Professor Bode Showande of UI there, who do themes. And then I started learning the rudiments of theater and all of that. And that's how I got into NTA as an actor.
Okay, so you were already working.
Yes, I was working before I went for, yeah.
Okay, that's my story.
You know.
That's my story too.
And then when I finished, I came back to NTA, and then I went abroad to do my master's. I came back to NTA. Then I left. I came to Lagos, I think 89 or something.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, that explains it. That was when you moved into our estate.
Yeah, those years. In the early 90s. That's, you know, I used to be in Didiolu, across the road. Right. And then, you know.
So now, your corporate world experience is actually not known to many people.
No, it's not.
Was that deliberate on your part?
Well, deliberate. I've always...
Did the entertainment part overshadow it?
No, even in entertainment, I'm not loud too. That's just how I am. I think that one's work should speak, you know, for who you are. I'm not of the mold of, you know, just jumping into publicity.
Well, before you joined Glow,
Yes.
you worked in...
I had worked in the bank. When we were living together in Nigeria, I was in the bank.
Okay.
Working with the Reverend Agwiti. Okay. And then I worked with CMC.
CMC Connect.
Yes. I was there. And then before CMC, I was with Center Spread.
Center Spread.
Yes, you know, so, and then later I joined Mike in Globacom.
Okay, in Globacom, yes.
Yes.
Now, what was the experience like combining the corporate engagement with your entertainment vocation?
Yes.
What was it like? How were you able to do that?
It wasn't a vocation. No. For me, it was a real career. Let me say this. I have worked very hard because I think being a director also helped me. Because all I needed to do was plan, get it to the boys, the managers, and everybody's executing. And then later I will come and reevaluate and all of that. But I had no weekends. There are times I had no nights. I would shoot overnight. Then, of course, when I get holidays, I'm back in the field, just doing all of that. That's how I used to combine these things.
But what was pushing you? What was it that made you want to do that?
When we started acting, drama as it were, there was no money in it. Now, this is my 49th year. There was no money in it. It was okay because we were single. But then we started getting married. And problems started. Wife, children, school, this and that. And I saw my mates, my colleagues, their homes were disintegrating. So, according to my people, Muyara Milogbo. So, I now said, listen, no. And I had the certificates. So I just said, let me go over to the other side. Get money from there to live and keep doing my stuff. And that's exactly what I did.
So it was like, it was a desire not to fail.
Absolutely. Absolutely. To provide a very good.
And lose your first love,
That's right.
which is acting, drama.
Absolutely.
So you went into that other side
Yes.
and made a good success of it.
Absolutely.
But now you're in retirement there.
Oh, yes. I did a 360 again. And 2009, I left the corporate. And I'm back here.
So fully now you are into entertainment.
Since then.
All right, we're going to take a break now. When we're back, we're going to talk about some other issues that I know had happened to you in the past and how you were able to navigate the storm.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. Welcome back. I'm still talking with Akin Louis. Now, let's go into that area you wanted to save,
Yeah.
the home front.
Yeah.
How were you able to sustain that home before the bubble burst? Because I know the bubble burst at some point. Yes.
I mean, Humpty Dumpty fell and you couldn't put it back.
Oh, Lord, that's even worse.
Yeah. I mean, with all these monies I was getting from the other side, I was able to, I mean, my children were going to the best schools, you know, my wife was comfortable. Everybody, I had my car, they had their car. And, you know, we were living ever after. And then suddenly something burst. But it wasn't me.
Yeah, well, people say you fall in and out of love. So love like took a holiday or
I don't know
something.
about that. Maybe she did, but I never did. Because she, you know, we were together, we dated for like 7 years. And then got married for like, officially for like 21 years. And then she said she was.
There's this thing that the women folk sometimes say that men don't have emotions.
No, they don't know what they're talking about. Men have emotions. I will open my women now. Our mothers raised us, and they have emotions. They put them in us. We have just been trained by our daddies, by experiences and all that to be in control. You know, you hold down everything. It is said that a man cannot just break down in public and all that.
Do you subscribe to that?
No, I don't. If you want to cry, cry. You feel better.
Yes.
And then you move.
I subscribe to that. You feel like crying, please cry. When you cry, people will know something is wrong with you.
Absolutely.
And they can step in.
When you pretend that
then other things will go wrong.
Exactly. But when that happened, when there was that falling apart in the marriage and all that, how were you able to cope?
It was quite an experience because I wasn't prepared for it. I wasn't ready, in fact. And it's more like a striker in football, and you are seeing the goal. You're already seeing the goal you want to score, and then somebody just clears you from behind, and you know, all sorts of injuries and all of that. It was hard, but I had to get up and go.
Because I know that there was a time you were totally under the radar. We didn't hear anything about you. We didn't see you. We were not seeing you in any movies. Nothing.
It was deliberate, you know. I needed that time to get myself together, you know, and then, you know, just keep moving. And because I'm not really a publicity person, so to speak, it was easier for me to do that. Yeah, I don't really like publicity. That's an aberration, considering that I'm in this.
Yeah, in this line of work.
And but that helped me. It helped me a lot, and it didn't become. I managed it such that it didn't become a scandal, because people would have, you know, the way it is, they would have gone to town with it, and I wasn't ready at that time, you know. But it's okay. Everything has settled down.
Yes, everything is settled now.
Yeah. Kamsis, and we are moving on.
And one of your daughters got
Oh,
married
yeah. My first daughter got married in December.
in December.
Yes.
So you're on the way to...
To becoming a grandfather. Yeah, you know. A long time coming. We forget that we are senior citizens, you know.
Yeah, that's where we are.
That's where we are now. And then talking about senior citizenship, in acting, in entertainment, is there enough being done to prepare the upcoming generation for the roles they have to play?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Even, I don't know the curricula these days in schools. But when we were there, it was arts for art's sake. Nobody taught us about the business of arts or the emotions of arts and all of that. You know, so we didn't have enough money. But these days, well, values are broken down. It's money, 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 money. Still, I don't think our young ones are prepared. What I do on my own is on every set, and I do go on set a lot, I mentor so many. Do not eat with your 10 fingers. This is a profession that, you know, there are no gratuities. I've retired twice now. Public sector and private sector. You know, they will give you something to take home. Then here, you may not get somebody to give you something, but along the line, you could make so much money. Try and save up something. Invest something so that, you know, when you get to become a senior citizen, you can. But you know how the young are. They hear you, but they need to experience some down time, some down stuff before they believe.
I even think that there are some experiences you've got to have
Yes,
before you will learn.
absolutely.
If you don't have those experiences,
You just,
you'll just be pretending. Now, the entertainment scene in Nigeria has evolved beyond what it was in your own early days.
Oh, yes.
How can we ensure that the artist benefits maximally from this boom in the entertainment world in Nigeria? Especially as it relates to acting.
Yes. I know it's a tough thing. Oh. Right now, it depends on individuals. That's what I was trying to explain. I have lived quite a checkered life. And my pedigree is such that you can see from the corporate to entertainment and all of that, go to really good schools and all of that, abroad, speak languages, interact with. So all of that come to play for me. So my 2 feet are firmly on the ground. But most of our young ones are, you know, we deal with life. But it could be ephemeral too because we just do it. Some may not have seen it, you know, and they just do what they have to do. And like you said, you may need to experience certain things just so that you can see very clearly. So the risk is high that the young will smash up before they can build up.
Yeah, but I want you to look into your corporate world experience and make a suggestion to the younger generation.
Well, like I said, you need to save up. Don't eat with all of your fingers.
In what areas? What areas would you recommend for investment purposes, for instance?
Okay. Well, what I have done over the years is to build. I have properties, you know, which are solid on ground. I also have a film that I just made, cinematic. You know, that's an asset. We'll premiere in May and all of that. It goes down the line. You know, so and then of course you can invest if you have the cash abroad in Europe or in America, given that our naira is weak and always falling and all of that. So it's not about how much. It's just having that ahead, being able to do it. You know, and so that's what I think they should do, rather than live in hotels, buy the latest cars, and then drink champagne that is 1 million naira and all of that.
Live tomorrow's life today. and live today's life tomorrow. Terrible thing. Okay, so being a communications marketing specialist,
Yes.
your experience has come to play in the roles you have acted.
Yes.
How would you recommend the kind of training, even if it's a short-term time,
Yes.
for the young entrants into the profession? Because it's not everybody who would be favored to have gone through your kind of training.
Yes. What would you recommend it to? Well, I always say this, that you have to get trained. Even a mechanic, they have apprentices, they get trained. So I say, if you can go to school, go to school. When you finish, come back. This thing will still be there. Or if you can go to school, then you can train under some masters, for some time. So that, because it's good to know your left and your right. And is it the way drama is structured, films and all of that, nobody has time to train anybody on the spot. You must know it. If you don't, they will chuck you, put somebody else there. So it's very, very important to get trained. And there are so many schools around today. I mean, the big universities, the names that we know already, there are new names, and there are even private institutions, and there are people like me also, who, really, because I say that all the time, that you must get trained.
You said something like when you're on set,
Yes.
you try to mentor.
Oh, I do that. I do that all the time.
How would you describe that experience?
It's going well. I think I'm well respected, and people listen to me.
I think you're well loved, actually.
Yes, I believe so too. Well, that's a good thing to know. But at this level, you know that it's not everybody that loves you.
Certainly.
So it shouldn't kill you. You know what I'm saying? But people listen to me. When I talk, they listen. In fact, most of the directors we have around today, they hadn't started this job. They were not born when I started this job. And I work with everybody. I work with everybody so much that everybody wants to work with me. Because I won't give you all the... For me, it is a job. I do my job, I go home.
There are rules.
Oh, yeah, there are rules, which many break. They break, once you're a star, then you give people trouble. I don't know where they learned that one from. So I get them to sit down, we talk, not only about the roles, I help them with the roles, and then I talk about life. I just share my life, and then that lets them to ask questions and all of that. And at the end of the day, they say thank you, and I'm gone.
Now, the profession has evolved so much that on the African continent, in fact, the world stage now, Nigerian content is so well sought after. But we are on the verge of being repetitive. All the stuff coming out from here are beginning to sound alike, look alike.
Well, it's just the nature of things. Because we look at society and we put something together. And maybe it's because all of these things are happening in our society and everybody wants to talk about them in different ways. And so you see one topic being treated by 10, 20 people and all of that. But I normally say that the best will always shoot out to the top. Even if it's the same theme, the way it's going to be handled will be different. And all of that. So I don't think that should worry us. Yeah, it's just nature of the job, things will look repetitive, but the best will always stand out.
Now, stereotyping is something we're trained to avoid.
Yes.
Yet, it's so easy to hear people of our generation and generations before us say things like, these young people don't want to know anything. And that's so stereotypical that it seems as if there is no good in the younger generation, yet they have so much good.
Absolutely. I don't subscribe to that. Again, it's all about who you are. If I have to say so, I'm a man of great patience. And I understand the youth. I know them. This is how they are. They are not like us. So one needs patience, wisdom, in fact, and understanding to be able to deal with them. Because if you don't understand them, if you can't get on their side and in their shoes, then they will reject you. And it's going to be difficult. It starts from the home as well, much more so within the polity. But I would say that for some of us at this level, we are not patient enough with the youth. But our job is to slow down. The youth is always in a hurry. So we need to slow down, call them back. And they'll say, come. You see here? Okay, if you have the patience and you have the wisdom, they will listen to you. And once they see results, then it's okay for them. If they don't see the result, then there's a lot of trouble there. And they want to just keep rolling.
Yeah, exactly. And then talking about trouble in society, there's the craze now for ritual killings and kidnappings, killing people for money, for rituals to make money and all that. I want you to speak on that. How can we bring back the heads of everybody, as it were?
It's a shameful thing, and I'm not proud of that. We are so many things. Nigerians, we are so many things. Liars, we are dishonest, and all of that. Well, there are some. I'm not saying everybody, but now we are killers. And I ask all the time, this thing, does it work? If you kill somebody and you make something, does it really work? The man who does it for you, what is he like?
How much money does he have?
Yeah, that you will now go and I think that charlatans are everywhere and we are being deceived. Unfortunately, because our values have dropped. Money is one of the monuments that the youth, even people at our level, that everybody is scrambling just to make money. How much do you want to spend? Unfortunately, too, our leaders are not helping us because we see them. We know they steal. We may not have evidence, but we know, the way they live. They were with us in the society, and then suddenly you go 4 years and you're back and, how did you make it? So everybody wants to do that.
4 years.
Yeah.
Somebody wins an election, maybe into the House of Assembly, and before he won the election, he probably was an R&A specialist, refrigeration and air conditioners. Very good technician. Wins an election, goes into the House of Assembly, spends 4 years. When that tenure is up, he doesn't want to return to his profession. Why?
No. We in Yoruba, they say nani, nani, tani. It doesn't make sense. That's it. I don't understand it. People want to be a chief. People want to be kings. People want to be politicians. They don't want to. And down there, that's the reality.
But when we were growing up, we knew chiefs whose profession was carpentry.
Oh yes.
Chiefs, chiefs. They were
absolutely.
Farmers who were masons, who were good time, big time farmers.
I agree with you. Yes. Our heads were still correct.
So how can somebody just serve 4 years or even 8 years and he doesn't want to return to practice law? He doesn't want to be a medical doctor again. What's wrong with us as a society?
It's wrong with the bad crowd. We have a lot of, of that in all those high places. And somebody has said that the only reason you keep quiet as a Nigerian about corruption is that you are far away from it. The nearer you get to it, the quieter you become. And when you get right in there, we don't hear your voice again.
You lose your voice.
Because you become like them, and that's that. And I don't understand that. I really don't understand that. It's, we have a lot of work to do.
Yes.
We really have a lot of work to do.
But shouldn't part of that work include the stuff we churn out as drama?
Yes, it's there. Well, for instance, if you watch most of the things I do, I not only entertain, I teach, we educate, now. will the people grab hold of that and run with it? That's another question. But we do that all the time. You know, I may be playing a chief now who is a thief. But what we are saying is that because you're a chief, don't mean that you have to be a thief. And things like that. I mean, I've played the president, I've played the governor, I've played everything. And we always highlight the bad in society. We bring it out so that people. But I think it's not only us. These things have to go back to schools. In Japan, they start teaching their children from maybe 3 or 4, age 3 or 4, how to be polite to people. And, you know, it's incredible. And these children grow up like that.
Knowing it, yes.
You know, but here, and here, even parents go and buy all these cronje certificates for their.
Yeah.
And so what are we teaching them? What are we teaching them? Growing up, my dad, he beat the living daylights out of me. All those bad stuff, I saw them myself running out of my body, just taking off.
You actually saw them?
Oh, I saw them. That was how good it was.
Yeah.
And I'm grown up. I can't lie. Yeah. I can't steal. I really can't do all of those things. Yeah. But it's not like that anymore. And it's sad.
We'll take a break now. When we're back, we're going to talk about those your languages.
Okay.
And see how much of them you can still remember, and we'll learn how you learned a few of them. Stay tuned. It's still Timeless Conversations. My guest is Akin Lewis. So, you speak so many languages. Which and which?
Well, I speak Hausa. I speak French. Of course, English. Bulgarian. Yoruba, that's my mother tongue. And Creole, and Pidgin. It's a different form of Pidgin.
Okay, Creole, that's...
Yeah, from Sierra Leone. It's Pidgin still. Their own form of... Yes.
Okay, so how did you learn all of this?
Well,
Also, I can understand you.
I grew up there.
Yes.
And even if I used to speak Igbo, but that has suffered the most because of practice. But growing up in the north, I grew up speaking Yoruba, Hausa, English, and Igbo. And then in university, French. Then I went to work in the Francophone. I used to live in Conakry. Yes, I used to live in Conakry. And I also was overseeing some work in Freetown, Liberia. So all the Mano area there, I've traveled around there. And then, of course, I went to Sofia. That's where I learned Bulgarian language, yes, which I speak. So, there you are. I used to learn German, but it became too heavy for me, so I had to drop that one.
Well, you were also looking for money.
No, really. Really, I wasn't. I have never been one who... Let me just say that I understand the secret of plenty and nothing. Okay. So that keeps me in check.
What's the secret? Between plenty and nothing.
Yes, so you have to be deeply spiritual. Not religious. Yes. Spiritual. Which is what I am, but most people don't know. Okay. People don't know that. I'm an ordained evangelist. Okay. I have done missionary work, in fact, and all of these things. So along the line, you discover that I have known the truth now for like 30 years. Yeah. I mean the real truth of the Bible. I'm not talking of money evangelism, TV. No. I'm not talking of that. Yeah. Okay. I'm talking of selling everything and going into the missions field. Okay. Just to get people forward. So that teaches you a lot of things.
So what it means is that in the course of life, you never stopped learning.
No, I'm still learning.
That's how come you could learn all those languages.
Absolutely. I believe very strongly that when I stop learning, then I'm dead. Mm-hmm. I learn from everybody, from you, from the young ones, from everybody, everywhere. My training, in fact, is to see what you don't see, to hear what you don't hear, and to know what you don't know. Even in your own office, I could do that. Yeah. That's my training.
So now let's visit you on a typical day. What's a typical day in the life of Akin Lewis like?
Well, you can break it into two. When I'm off, I have off days. Yeah. So typical day, on those off days, I'm usually home, I like to, I wake up very early, meditate a lot, pray and all of that. And then I chill out in the house with my wife. We talk. And then,
Oh, with your wife, you remarried?
oh yes, I remarried. Okay. Yes, I told you I'm stable now. Calm waters, sailing. Yeah, I remarried. And I have a beautiful daughter, in fact, now.
What's her name?
Oba Oluwajunwolo.
That's
Yeah.
the state, right?
Yes, it is.
If I say
So I spend time, I could even spend time with Oba if she's also off and all of that. And then I go to town, go to my friends, chill out, and then come back home like 6, 7. That's a typical day. Now, when I'm on set, that's crazy, really crazy, because from dawn to midnight, through the night and all of that, we just walk and walk and walk. But because we are, actors are really we are bonded very closely when we're working. So, and because I have been around, everybody knows me, I know most people, so it's easy to just, but it's a tough job.
So a typical day on set starts from, say...
From 5 for me, because I have to wake up, get ready, look at my lines, eat breakfast, and then maybe hit the set from 8. And we just keep going, break for lunch, and you keep going. If you are lucky on that day, you get to rest a bit in between scenes. If not, if you are the lead, you just keep walking and walking. And I'm talking at times 20 scenes, 21 scenes, by which time you'll be thoroughly tired. And then we come back at night.
For those who haven't been there,
Yeah.
it's such a fantasy. Yet for those of you in there, it's regular.
Yeah.
How do you explain that?
Well, let me just say it for myself.
Yes.
I'm one of the most highly trained actors, directors around. And they teach you these things from School of Drama, how to separate. In fact, there is a rule. Never forget who you are. In whatever role, don't forget that you are Akin Lewis. Otherwise, you will kill somebody, for real, if you just get lost in that character. So that's how we separate it. I get to separate it. Imagine if I have to carry all the roles home that I've done in 49 years. I probably will be living alone or something.
That would be something. That would be something. Yeah. Now, in the community, you are respected.
Yeah.
But politically, you're quiet.
Yes. Oh, very deliberately so. Let me just say I've had a stint or two, just selling some of this, like the last dispensation. I had the opportunity to sell Isiaka, Jimobi, to sell Penkele Mess, and even say Baba. I was one of the ambassadors they used to do all of these things. But beyond that, I am deliberately quiet. Not that I've not been invited. Severally I've been invited and all. But the problem is I don't know how to do it. With who I am, the way I am, I don't know how to navigate the political terrain. I will fall down flat on my face in a week unless I change. And I don't really want to change. So maybe that's why I just, I keep back a bit, and maybe that's it. I don't know about later, but right now, I'm just content being where I am.
See, time is of the essence.
Yeah.
You have such a great sphere of influence.
Yes.
That can be useful in motivating the younger generation to even be actively involved in community service and politics.
I agree. Well, I don't know. Who knows what will happen tomorrow? If I get good mentors, if I get good teachers, good sponsors, and all of that, who knows? I'm always willing to serve. I have served in places you won't believe. In places you won't believe. I've been to like 13 countries in Africa, or maybe more, just serving, and all of that. As a Rotarian, I have served. So it comes easy to me to say, babe, I'm just looking at the polity.
The politics.
Are we ready? Uh-huh.
But when will we ever be ready if we don't get into it?
I think we will know when the time comes. I think we will know. But the way things are now, we need an Oga. You know, usually things can go bottom up. You have growth that way. And top down.
Top down, yes.
We are in such a state that we need to have top down. Because bottom up for us now could be disastrous. You know, a lot of angry people, hungry people, and then destroy a lot of things. But if we have one Oga who, you know, and then who can maybe attract people like me and you and so on and so forth, then the time will be right.
Okay. Now, you have retired twice.
Yes.
Retired from the public service,
Yes.
from the private sector.
Yes.
Will you ever retire from acting?
No. That one you never retire. So I just pray to God to give me the strength to keep going, because roles change,
Yes.
you know. And right now I'm playing kings, presidents, governors, fathers. Maybe very soon I'll be doing grandfathers and so on and so forth. You know, until you don't have the strength and the mental facility to be able to, then that's when.
So for you, there's no retiring from acting.
No, there's no retiring.
Now, there is another Louis in this profession.
Yes. Egbon, yeah, Digimon.
Digimon Louis, yes. What's your relationship with?
We are cousins.
Or cousins?
Yes.
From which part of Nigeria?
From maybe West ni Ugwatiwa.
Yeah.
Omeko ni wana.
I see.
Omeko ni wana.
I wanted to ask you that question. Are you
Related to Digimon Louis?
Yeah.
In what way?
Yeah. The thing is this. Maybe I should leave it like that until another day. But let's just agree that we are cousins.
Your cousins. I understand. I understand that. I know that there are some names that feature in Lagos, feature in Abeokuta, feature in Elisha and all that. And
Ours is Abeokuta to Lagos. Uwu actually. Ulawa, down to Lagos. If I have to say any other thing regarding our relationship, then I have to speak to Egbon first.
Yes, no.
So that we
I will go for him, so he will be the one to tell us. He will be the one to tell us the relationship. All right. So we've spoken about many things.
Yes.
The last one I want us to speak about is this. Nigeria. Where are we going? In terms of restructuring function of this polity and the takeover by the younger generation.
Nigeria. Where we are at is very bad indeed. I don't know where we're going, but if we continue like this, it's not going to be a good place. That I know.
How do we get to the good place?
We have to change.
Change what?
That's what I meant when I said we need people at the top who will hold us by our hands and just lead us. They cannot leave it to the people now. You know, it's got to be a function of leadership, because we have derailed. Growing up, things weren't this bad. I mean, you couldn't even miss school. I mean, the whole village was looking after one son and all of that. But today, you can't even touch anybody's children. You can't do that. You can't tell the young what to do. They will tell you to. And it is so bad. We see leaders who steal and nothing is happening. You know, corruption there, corruption this, blah, blah. Nothing is happening. And everybody is tempted to go and do that. So I don't know where we're going, but it's not going to be a good place. Unless the leadership comes together and say, listen, for the sake of everybody, can we just... You know, they need to listen to the people. Listen to the people and then, you know, lead us where we want to go. If it is bad, then don't listen to us. Tell us the better place to go and take us there. We will follow. We will follow, you know. I mean, I remember when the campaign for seatbelt was going to start. Everybody thought it was going to be impossible. I mean, that was... But we all changed.
Yes, we did.
We did, you know, and so...
Somebody enforced it.
Yeah. And now everybody is doing that. It's okay. It will be tough.
I feel you. But now this is the last personal question.
Yeah.
What are your favorite meals? What do you enjoy eating?
I love moi moi with everything.
Everything being
I mean, rice. I can eat moi moi with yam and all that stuff.
Oh, you're one of those people.
Oh, yes, I can.
Fried that should be his beans.
Yeah, you know now. But really, my best is amala, abula, and mo.
Yes.
That one.
Yes.
You know, and maybe some fresh fish.
Okay.
That's it. That's my best.
And then your drink of choice will be what?
Water usually. Yeah. But when I hang out with the boys, we can do asun and some, brandy. But, depends on what is happening or what we're doing. Yeah. But all controlled.
Moderation.
Oh, yeah, moderation. Especially at this level now, you can't.
You have to be moderate.
Yeah, so.
Thank you so much, Akin, for coming. It's been a lovely time speaking with Akin Lewis on Timeless Conversation. I look forward to the next time we'll sit down together and probably we'll go and chill out, like you said.
That would be great.
Yeah, but I only drink water too.
Yeah.
I love moi moi as well. So till next time, have a good time. Thank you very much, everyone. All right, bye.
Hello there. My name is Oluseyi Akinwale Fashwi. Orúkọ rere ó sàn ju wúrà lọ, meaning a good name is worth more than gold. That was the creed imparted in us when growing up. This forms the background to my good old days story. My late grandfather, an Ondo man from Okegbogi compound in Ondo State, was a revered Reverend Father of the Anglican Communion that traversed the whole of Western region back then. His sojourn in line of work brought him to Abeokuta, where he met and married my grandmother of the Deke family at Ikuruake, Abeokuta. This is the basis of my dual lineage of an Ondo man and Egba man. My late father, Prophet Olujimi Timothy Fashwi, resident in Ibadan, retired as a higher executive officer at the then Nigerian Cocoa Board, Cocoa House, while my late mother, a trader, Oluyemisi Fashwi, hails from Abeokuta. I was born at Lafia Hospital in Ibadan. I am the first of only 2 children, the other being a girl, now married. I grew up with my maternal uncle, late Mr. Adekunle Ladende Esquire, who was then an agricultural officer and later a divisional officer at Ogbomoso during the Western region days. My uncle, an Egba man, was a strict disciplinarian. His wife, a midwife then, likewise trained us all on strict moral standards. I will share some of my learning experiences with them in the course of my story. I started my primary education at Bodija International School and completed it at St. Benedict's Private School, Ibara, Abeokuta, where my uncle was transferred to Ogun State after creation of states in the 70s. Then to St. Leo's High School for secondary, Ogun State Polytechnic for A-levels, and University of Ilorin, where I obtained B.A. Hunt's degree in performing arts. Growing up was memorable and indeed indelible. From early days at Old Bodija, Ibadan, where streets were paved, neat clean gutters and drainage systems, security guaranteed, even with low fence and no barbed wires. It was then considered uncultured to speak across fence to your neighbors. Notable places then were Palm Chemist, Keba Chemist, KS Motel, Cocoa House, Agodi Gardens and Zoo, Premier Hotels, Rotunda, and a host of others. In those days of strong values, our normal day usually will begin with bell ringing by Daddy, my uncle, for prayers. Songs from hymnal books, psalms from Bible were sung and recited off heart. Till date, I can still read Psalm 23, 121, 122, 103, 91, and some others from memory. Then, everyone had a car to do before school. Everyone was trained to write with Ami, the foundational phonemic notations of Yoruba language, which is Doremi, and speak in Yoruba language. Proverbs, idioms, witty sayings, storytellings. Alo, alo. Oruku tindi tindi tindi, oruku tindi tindi tindi, oruku bimo, gbogbo ọmọ ẹ̀ ló yàjẹ́ o, kí ni o? Pardon me as I won't be able to translate this in English language, but it suffices to say each story then ended with a lesson in moral and conduct. It is strange, therefore, to know that majority of families nowadays train their children strictly on English language and eroding our cultures and traditions, all in the name of westernization. This is a tickling time bomb. Values inculcated in us were good character, good name, discipline, integrity, truthfulness, cleanliness, hard work, dedication, loyalty, God-fearing, sound education, and responsibility. I remember a day I was running late and dressed up for school without doing my morning cars. As I prostrated fully, saying, Udabosa, meaning bye-bye, sir, Daddy asked, have you done your course? In Yoruba, I couldn't answer in the affirmative. He then asked that I should go and remove my uniform and perform my duties, and that when I get punished for lateness in school, next time I'll learn to wake up earlier and do my cars. This taught me how to be responsible and time conscious. I remember another incident of my goose. My uncle requested for a glass of water. 50-50 calls it. Half hot water and half cold water, making it warm water. As I dashed from his front, I accidentally kicked or brushed his leg while leaving. He called me back and instructed me in Yoruba, Lo mu adawa kowa ge itakun to fese ko lenkan, meaning go and bring a cutlass, machete, and cut the tree roots you kicked then. I turned to leave, only to realize my goof of not apologizing when I kicked his foot in error. I quickly prostrated and said, sorry, sir. That was courtesy lesson 101. I never forgot the incidents and lessons, using an idiom for corrections. Wow. I remember the good old telephone always under lock and key. I won't disclose some naughty pranks we played to dial numbers without opening the padlock. God help you if you are caught in the act. Your punishment will be near capital. I recall my uncle had tools of various artisans. We repaired minor things ourselves. Hammer, nails, saw, crowbar, shovels, plumb, ladder, plumbing machine, a toolbox for screwdrivers and paint brushes. We actually painted part of the house once. He was a hands-on man, a life skill I possess till date. Memories. What of dress code? Everyone must tuck in their shirts going out, neat and ironed. No collar flying. Hair must be cropped neat at Maridoti Babas, Makola. But what do we have today? Nudity has replaced decency. Now we glorify Yahooism as a profession. Drugs and drunkenness proliferate and rule our world. Mentorship gone to the winds and lawlessness now order of the day. How did we get here? Growing up, our orientation of sound moral values was right, and it has helped me later in life to mix freely with people of diverse cultures and traditions. It is the same values that has helped me in my passion, drive, and calling into integrated development communication initiatives, where we use arts as a tool for advocacy and education for attitudinal change of various publics. This is a clarion call, a call for us to revisit those old-time tested values of integrity, discipline, patriotism, hard work, dedication, humility, good character, and high moral standards. It is time for us to call the emerging generation to borrow a leaf from our past when there was dignity in labor, honesty, perseverance, and belief in God, who is the author and finisher of our faith. Let's shun tribal sentiments and embrace religious tolerance. Hunger does not discriminate. You are uniquely made. Nigeria can and will be great again if we all do the needful and stop the blame game. Let us ask ourselves one question. Am I truthful and honest in my dealings? As a parent, government, or a businessman? What legacy are we leaving behind for our children? They deserve a future that is greater than our past. We owe them a duty to lead them right. Nigeria needs an urgent national moral rebirth to galvanize credible leadership and responsible followership. Therefore, I join Sir Shimore Badejo on this noble initiative to say there is hope for Nigeria still. Our good old days can be a foundation for a better tomorrow. Let's do our bit to make our country great again. Long live Nigeria. Thank you.
Hello and welcome. My name is Nyamgul Agaji. This is the news brief. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has departed Abuja for the United Kingdom to begin a 2-week vacation as part of his annual leave. A statement by the Special Advisor to the President, Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, on Wednesday said he would use the 2 weeks as a working vacation and a retreat to reflect on his administration's economic reforms. Tinubu celebrated Nigeria's 64th Independence Day anniversary with a speech in which he said the federal government would introduce a 30-day confab aimed at including the youths in his administration. The president said the modalities of the confab and selection of delegates would be designed as soon as possible. Tinubu further said his administration decided to reform Nigeria's political economy and defense architecture for the nation to survive. The president also saluted the doggedness of the Nigerian people, saying the country has survived crises that disintegrated other nations. Tinubu said his administration is determined to win the war against bandits and terrorists so that displaced farmers can return to their farmlands and boost production to reduce soaring food prices. Niger State Emergency Management Agency in SEMA has confirmed a report that a boat conveying no fewer than 300 passengers capsized on River Niger upstream Jeba Dam at Gbajibo community in Mokwa local government area. It stated that so far about 150 travelers have been rescued while efforts are on to rescue the remaining persons. The agency, in a statement signed by its Director General Abdullahi Baba Ara, said the boat was sailing from Mundi community with the Mokwa Local Government Emergency Committee, brave local divers and other community volunteers. The federal government has constituted a working group on the review of the laws of the Federation. The essential mandate of this group is simply to review the country's laws and propose laws that will support the development of all aspects of national life. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, disclosed this at the ceremony, which was part of activities marking the commencement of the 2024-2025 new legal year. The working group is to be chaired by a former Attorney General of Ekiti State, Olawale Fapohunda. The last review of the laws of the Federation was done in 2004, and the AGF, while thanking the Chairman Olawale and members of the working group for accepting to serve, said the federal government is determined to deliver a revised laws of the Federation by the commencement of the 2025 legal year. In the meantime, the House of Representatives has rejected the planned conferment of the Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, CFR, on the Speaker, Tajuddin Abbas, and the Commander of the Order of the Niger, CON, on the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Benjamin Kalu. The rejection was made during Wednesday's plenary session as federal lawmakers from the House of Representatives expressed dissatisfaction with the President's double standards in awarding the national honors. The President had announced that the Senate President Godswill Akpabio and the Chief Justice of the Federation, Kudirat Kekereekun, will be awarded with titles of the Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger, GCON, while the Deputy Senate President Barau Jubril will be awarded the title of CFR, just as the Speaker Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin. Honorable Philip Agbese brought up the observations through a motion of urgent public importance at plenary following the President's October 1 Independence Day address to the nation, stating that it neglects all aspects of the Constitution that stated clearly the principle of equality for both chambers unless the President is trying to rewrite the nation's 1999 Constitution as amended.
This is not about Tajuddin Abbas. This is about the fourth person in the protocol of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This is about the equal chamber as enshrined in the, according to Section 47 of the Federal Republic Constitution of Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, the two chambers, House of Representatives and the Senate, as clearly provided in the Constitution, work to create laws for the good governance of Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, in accordance to protocol of this country, the Speaker is the fourth in protocol. The CGN comes after. Today, the CGN is given the award, the honor of GCON. I think there is some mismatch, some mix-up.
Constitutional point of view, House of Representatives have more powers in terms of dispensing our own duties because the power of appropriation is vested in us. And two, there's nothing, we are not subservient to any other legislative arm. We are supposed to be apart in terms of functions. And I think where we are getting it wrong and where Nigerians are getting it wrong, each time there are matters, they say President or Chairman of the National Assembly. It's not done to the Constitution, it's not placed in any place, and this has given rise and occasion to some of the things that are happening now. And I want to mention specifically what Honorable Sada mentioned. Last time when this thing happened, in leadership then of the Ninth Assembly,
the news of the Senate President giving GCON, which is a good thing. We also expect that the same way in the Federal House of Representatives. A reason being that we are operating a bicameral legislature. When it comes to budget, the role of the House of Representatives, everybody knows that this House plays a more crucial role than the Senate. We are not making comparison because this is a bicameral legislature. It's not about you, it's about all of us, the 360.
The president has, however, not specified a date for the conferment. But in another development, the House of Representatives has urged the federal government, through the Federal Ministers of Water Resources, to begin desilting the country's major dams and rivers to prevent excessive flooding that threatens the lives and properties of citizens. Honorable Mohammed Shehu raised this motion at plenary, stating that proper desilting of major dams and rivers, if urgently addressed, will promote irrigation, farming, and lead to increase in food production for domestic consumption and export, which will in turn contribute to economic prosperity of the country. Honorable Shehu expressed concern that 80% of Nigerian farmers have experienced significant crop losses, resulting in debt and forcing many to exit the farming business.
Also note that government negligence in supporting farmers' effort to address the flooding has hindered the implementation of an adequate action plan which will enhance drainage system mechanism to control flood in the country. Worries that negligence has led to an inadequate drainage system, insufficient flood control measures, lack of support for farmers to adapt to climate change, inadequate compensation for farmers' losses, and the inefficient water resources management. Aware that developed countries like United States of America, the United States Kingdom, and South Africa have made a flood control through proper drainage sustainability a key object of the administration in order to safeguard the environment, improve food security, and ensure food sustainability.
The immediate past Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, in charge of operations, Folashodun Adebisi Shonobi, on Wednesday told Justice Marian Aneni of the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Maitama, Abuja, that the Apex Bank, under Godwin Emefiele's leadership, did not follow its laid-down procedures for currency redesign. Shonobi said this while testifying for the prosecution in ongoing trial of the former CBN governor, Emefiele, who is being prosecuted by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, on a 4-count charge bordering on disobedience to the direction of law, an illegal act causing injury to the public. The anti-graft agency alleged in a charge that Emefiele between October 19, 2022 and March 5, 2023 disobeyed the direction of Section 19 of the CBN Act by approving the printing of 375,520,000 pieces of color-swapped 1,000 naira notes at a total cost of 11,052,068,062 naira without the recommendation of the CBN board and strict approval of the President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, a conduct which caused injury to the public. The offenses allegedly committed by the defendant, according to the prosecution, were contrary to Section 123 of the Penal Code Law, Cap 89, Laws of the Federation, 1990, punishable under the same law. At Wednesday's proceedings, Shonobi told the court that the normal CBN procedures for currency redesign were for the Currency Management Department of the Apex Bank to make recommendation to the effect of redesign, after which a paper would be submitted to the Committee of Governors, COG, of the bank for consideration. Cataracts have been identified as a leading cause of blindness in children worldwide, affecting over 1.4 million children globally, with around 80,000 cases annually in Nigeria alone. Ribiatu Usman, a 4-year-old girl, is one of 15 children who recently underwent life-changing eye surgery at the National Eye Center, Kaduna, through the Eye Health Care Program, supported by Sight Savers. This initiative aims to provide free surgeries for more than 1,000 children suffering from cataracts and other vision challenges, giving them a new lease on life and a brighter future. Plus TV correspondent Habila Dorofai reports that Rabiatu Usman was diagnosed with cataracts as an infant. Her parents, Aisha and Usman, made desperate efforts to seek treatment, but financial constraints made it impossible.
I'm here because of my daughter eye problem. She's about 6 months. She's sick for teething. And then after that 1 year, I saw something coming out on her eye. As I tell her, daddy said, I saw something on her eye. The daddy said we are taking her to hospital. Almost 3 years now. What to say again? Just say thank you for their help.
We are here for the treatment of her eyes. She got an injury on the eyes when she was 3 years old. Initially, we did not realize until after some time we discovered it. Since then, we have been up and doing to secure medication for her, but proved abortive. We came here for the treatment of the eyes, as promised by the philanthropist, to save her eyes.
The medical team of National Eye Center reiterated its commitment and assured Aisha and that Ribiatu and the other children were in safe hands. They explained that cataracts in children are delicate and must be handled with utmost care to preserve their vision. The eye health care program run by Sight Savers and governments of Kaduna, Zamfara and Sokoto states focuses on combating childhood vision loss by offering free surgeries and treatments to children in need, with open opportunities that might otherwise be denied due to vision impairments. The initiative over the years has been a beacon of hope for vulnerable children with vision impairments, transforming lives and giving children like Ribiatu a new chance at life.
Cataract is preventing her from having good vision, which the cataract probably she was born with it or she developed it shortly after birth. So it's obstructing her vision. So it's delicate because she's a child. You have to do the surgery as early as possible. The brain develops the vision. As they grow, the brain is developing, so it improves on the vision. So you have to do it as early as possible. The surgery is really delicate compared to the ones in adults. Adults do get cataracts, and so do children, but the children is the earlier, the better.
There are children that have been identified to have cataract between the ages of 0 to 16 years. So what we try to do is to see that from the primary level, we're able to identify such children, and then we have a referral pathway that these children follow. So from the primary level, we have the secondary facilities that are domiciled under the Ministries of Health, where these children are able to go and get further tested or examined. It is at this point that children who have cataracts are confirmed and then further referred to the tertiary facilities, which could be National Eye Center or Usman Danfodio University Teaching Hospital in Sokoto, where they can finally get care. And we have performed over 1,000 surgeries for children across Kaduna, Sokoto, and Zamfara State.
Insist that addressing childhood cataracts in Nigeria requires a multifaceted approach, including improving healthcare access, raising awareness on early detection, ensuring timely treatment and eye care services. The Taraba state government is taking decisive action to prevent loss of life due to potential flooding from the release of excess water from Cameroon's Lagdo Dam. In an ongoing campaign to protect communities at risk, the Commissioner for Special Duties and Humanitarian Affairs, Honorable Saviour Noku, led a sensitization drive at Mayo Ranewo, a riverbank settlement in Adokola local government area, urging residents to move to safer locations. The government's proactive efforts are focused on preventing disaster, especially in vulnerable areas along the River Benue. According to Honorable Noku, the administration is fully committed to protecting every citizen and has already set up facilities to assist residents to relocate if floodwaters arise.
The purpose of our coming is on sensitization and to create awareness for the people living along the River Benue Trout because of the release of excess water from the Lagdo Dam, Cameroon. This wouldn't have come at any better time than now. And the instruction from our God-given governor, who said in his words that he will not be happy and he will not take it lightly if out of carelessness we lose somebody as a result of this flood.
Various stakeholders, including representatives from the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, National Inland Waterways, NIWA, civil society organizations, CSOs, and the Red Cross, commended the government's efforts to create awareness. They encouraged continued sensitization across the communities vulnerable to flooding and called on residents to relocate without delay.
Part of our local government too is caused a serious damage to the foundation of the bridge at Maluntam and Ganeshodo, which require immediate maintenance. If urgent measures are not taken, the bridge will be cut off. As it is, stands, Sunkani-Gerbeshede Road is the only road maintaining that links Taraba State and the southern part of the state and the country.
Has not come to this, but it doesn't mean that water is not coming. Actually, the water has been released, or they are releasing the water gradually in a regulated way.
We should not be ignorant. Every citizen should be aware of the need to be safety conscious in this period of time.
From other parts of Africa, 2 vessels carrying migrants from Africa sank in the Red Sea off the coast of Djibouti, killing 45 people, according to the UN Migration Agency. The boats had departed from Yemen carrying 310 people, the International Organization for Migration said. The UN agency, which was assisting search and rescue efforts, said on the social media platform X that 32 survivors were rescued. Djibouti's Coast Guard said the tragedy struck some 150 meters off a beach near the northwest Khor Anga region. It said a joint rescue effort was underway, which began early on Monday. It said 115 survivors were rescued. Outside Africa, UN Chief Antonio Guterres called on Wednesday for an end to the sickening cycle of escalation in the Middle East, while specifically condemning Iran over its latest missile attack after facing harsh criticisms from Israel. The Secretary General was speaking at an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council called after Iran on Tuesday launched a massive missile barrage at Israel, which has ramped up its offensive against Hezbollah in Lebanon. Israel's pledge to respond to the Iranian missile attack has raised fears of a spiraling region-wide war, sending diplomats scrambling for options to de-escalate the situation. Iran in turn said it would launch an even bigger attack if Israel makes good on its pledge. Israel shifted its focus last month from the war in Gaza, which was sparked by October 7 attacks by Iran-backed Hamas, to securing its northern border with Lebanon. In business news, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has again failed to begin fuel production at the Port Harcourt refinery in Rivers State. This is despite the refinery failing to commence operations after about 6 postponements as of August 2024. The promises made to Nigerians by Federal Ministry of Petroleum Resources and NNPC about the refinery have continued to hit brick walls. After the failure of the early August promise, the Chief Financial Officer of the NNPC, Umar Ajia, said the Port Harcourt refinery will commence operations in September 2024. Speaking to journalists in August, Ajia had said petroleum products would be ready for testing before being supplied to the domestic market in September. As September ended, the NNPC did not even give a date about the refinery. Any update about the refinery. Our correspondent contacted the NNPC last week for an update about the refinery, but there was no response. The Chief Corporate Communications Officer of the oil firm, Olufemi Soneye, did not reply to inquiries sent to him on September 22 and 30, 2024. However, Mayor Techmond SPA, the contractor overseeing the rehabilitation of the Port Harcourt refinery, said it would provide details on the project's completion by or before October 2. The contractor conveyed this through a law firm, Olajide Oyewole LLP, in response to a letter from a senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, who had inquired about the completion timeline for the refinery's rehabilitation. In entertainment news, the 2024 Nollywood African Golden Award has held with glitz and glamour in Agbo, Delta State. The award was in 3 categories: the celebration of Nollywood artists, individuals and organizations that have supported Nollywood, and the humanitarian award. The award ceremony featured presentation of awards, dance and stand-up comedy. It was attended from all parts of the country as well as other countries such as Gambia, Ghana and Europe. Our Sabah correspondent Akpomejero Friday reports that the organizer and the president of the Nollywood African Golden Award, Percy Mondiadoki, said that the yearly event spurs the artists and other awardees to put their best in the trade that has contributed immensely to the development of the country through employment and more.
To fight the issue of piracy. That is one of our major problems, piracy. Secondly, government should invest into Nollywood employment. Nollywood is the only place I think has helped to reduce unemployment on daily basis. So government should try to invest. How would they invest? Reaching the right people, not taking the money that is supposed to be made for the movie practitioners and give it to one man sitting in Abuja saying he's the one representing when the man don't know anything concerning entertainment industry.
Other awardees praised their sense of Nollywood African Golden Award, noting that the Nollywood industry needs constant celebration and encouragement. They noted that the economic challenges in the country are affecting Nollywood badly, as sales have reduced as well as cost of production. They called on the government to assist the industry that has taken millions out of unemployment market for sustainability.
It's setting the industry backward, because if you not produce any movie, for you to print in cassette becomes a problem because of the high cost of production. Even when you go to the media to perhaps showcase your whatever, it becomes a problem also. The government should address this issue, because the industry is helping a lot to curb crimes in the country. You know, a lot of people are there, school graduates and all the rest of it, they are there in the industry. So if the government can subvent, give the industry enough funds to manage it, I think it will go a long way to improving the condition of people in Nigeria.
Something bad. And the government should come and sponsor films. They should invest in the industry. That is all the right thing. My coming here to collect this award has given me another level that I need to work harder to make more of this award. And I am also using this to encourage the upcomers. Let them focus.
So it's really difficult, and when the producers call us, we have to call our fee such a way that caters for the logistics, So things are tough, and we need the government to intercede one way or the other to make this easy for everyone.
Hardship. In fact, there's hardship in the world. Do you understand? So there's nothing like you do it. Thank God you sleep. By the grace of God, you wake up. You go on your daily activities. So hardship or no hardship, we are doing it. Some people say that acting is this, acting is that. Acting is a day-to-day activity. Just like we are doing now, we are acting.
And look into this again, the aspect of wealth subsidy. If the subsidy cannot be brought back 100%, let a part of the subsidy be brought back to ease, to bring down the cost of wealth, which will transfer to reduction in transport fare. And when there's reduction in transport fare, it transfers to everywhere. It will bring down the cost of food items and all other items.
But I just don't think the government is doing enough for Nigeria. There's a lot more need to be done because the people are suffering, So if they could maybe copy some other country or something, or get a good government in there, it will be better.
Just woke up one day to find out that yes, what Nollywood is doing is an addition, adding value to our gross domestic product. And then that one now, as a result of that, it now had to raise our bar, yes.
Senegal has parted company with coach Aliou Cissé, who led them to their Africa Cup of Nations triumph in 2022 and the past two World Cup tournaments. The initiative came from Senegal Sports Minister Kadi Dieng Gueye, according to the local football association, citing a government request not to renew his contract. Cissé, a former captain of the national team and Paris Saint-Germain player, took over as coach in 2015 and led the country to their first AFCON title 2 years ago. Senegal also reached the last 16 of 2022 World Cup but fell at the same stage of this year's AFCON, where they were eliminated by host and eventual champions Ivory Coast. The Senegalese FA said an interim coaching team would replace the 48-year-old Cissé for the 2025 AFCON qualifiers against Malawi this month. Senegal is level with Burkina Faso on 4 points from 2 games in a group that also includes Burundi. And that's the news brief. For more stories, please follow us on Facebook, X and Instagram, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa and Plus TV Africa Lifestyle. You can also view us on Limex TV and Glow TV apps anywhere in the world. My name is Nyamgul Agaji. Thank you for being there.
Welcome to Bayes University, Abuja, Nigeria, with a legacy of excellence and a vision for nurturing future leaders. Bayes University is in a league of its own. We're all about our people, processes, and technology.
Bayes is one of the highly rated universities in Nigeria in terms of product quality standards.
We don't just produce graduates, but groom people into employers of labor.
And it has made us understand that learning is all about 3 things. We learn, we unlearn, and we relearn.
Bayes University Hospital offers a range of specialized services equipped with the latest technology, manned by a team of trusted professionals. And now, our vision extends beyond our walls with the Baba Ahmed University in Kano following our lead. Join us at Bayes University and invest in your future today.
Bayes University is the institution where you will get the best value for money education in Nigeria.
Bayes University. Learn to live.
I will take you through this amazingness today.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Bookie November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
But worry for that. All rodents and reptiles so they disturb the dad.
I'm a graduate of Political Science Social Studies from Adini Rogosaya College of Education. I graduated in the year 2020.
See, as of now, I'm looking for other jobs that I can match together to meet up with responsibility. One time I remember trekking from Oriental Hotel to Eco Hotel, dropping my CVs at every place, dropping my CVs at different restaurants, different bars, different hotels, just hoping for something.
Pius is a graduate of computer science, but he drives an Uber for a living in the city of Lagos. Although underemployed, Pius is considered a tad lucky because 41% of the labor population with bachelor's degrees are without employment.
I got several jobs. When I go for the interview, I'll pass it. They'll say I'm too young, they want an older chef. And then so things like that were very, very frustrating. They almost pushed me off the edge. I was almost at the brink of going to call my friends and be like, okay, let me learn this year with you. But I just decided to keep pushing. Then I heard about this Uber thing. I got my first car. I was driving for somebody. I was supposed to be paying the person 25k a week. But sometimes when I walk, the car was having so much issues. If I make maybe 20, 30k in a day, the car, I'll end up spending like 27,000, 25,000 on fuel. So I couldn't keep up. I had to go for another car to another car before I finally found this one. And this one I'm driving to own the car and I'm almost done with it.
Presently, 1 out of every 3 Nigerians that are able to work are unemployed. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, 23.2 million Nigerians are out of work. That is almost the entire population of Sierra Leone, Liberia, and Gambia combined. While Nigeria's youth population has increased much in the last 1.5 decades, the available economic opportunities are shrinking. Nigeria is facing an increasing youth bulge with over 123 million young citizens, but there are just not enough jobs for these youths.
From 2015 to date, I found myself jobless. Now presently I'm managing a job, electrical job, which I invested my money and went to go and acquire some skills, which is providing money for me now.
Instead of me searching for a job, my father just advised me, instead of you working somewhere, killing yourself, you know what the country is now, just go into this. And I thought of it, I started making research, then I started doing my father's business. And that was how I started selling ads. I sell ads here and there.
Up to date, if I see a job, I will work, but if the pay is meaningful, because now they can't give me a job that will be earning like 45,000 or 50,000, because now through my electrical job I'm doing now, I earn more than the salary I think they will offer me now.
The dire unemployment situation, which some believe is more severe than reported, has been made worse by the coronavirus pandemic, which has led to shutdown of businesses. The adverse effects of this rising unemployment rate in Nigeria are becoming enormous and far-reaching.
Where there is unemployment, there is psychological desperation in itself, the sense of not having something to do. Then you also have the cogent economic consequence of not having money to spend because you're not working. This economic consequence then falls into a sociological consequence, which is a criminal side, because if people cannot fend for themselves, they either beg or steal or engage in any kind of disruptive criminal act. For these reasons, for these 3 reasons of psychology, sociology, and economic reasons, it is very important that we take the issue of unemployment very seriously.
When you are not able to meet your basic needs, when you that were able to put food on your table, you're now struggling, you that you were able to give somebody 5,000 naira, you're the one that is now begging 5,000 naira, it affects your sense of worth.
The unemployment problem is compounded for those living with disabilities who have to deal with extra hurdles, people like Christiana, who is a visually impaired business owner and tutor in Lagos.
We have this misconception that when there is no sight, there is nothing you can do. But in my own case, it's not like that. But one of the problems that we have is like people never had that trust with people living that disability that they can deliver it. And at the same time, people look down on us, low esteem, and there is discrimination and stigmatization that you cannot deliver.
The problem of exclusion is also gendered, as the numbers show. While the rate of unemployment is high, women are the worst hit. In stock terms, there are 30% more unemployed women than men. Women face barriers that men don't have to deal with.
So the woman who's at home and who's caring for the children, or who's the natural carer, would we say that that person is employed or not? I would dare say that they are employed. Now, we may have as high as 10%. Like I said, I think it's more. We may have a lot more women not employed in the formal structure as we know it, either within the corporate world or perhaps down the line of entrepreneurship. And there are very many different reasons and factors for that. But the starting point usually has to do with, the girl-child education, as we know, based on our culture and based on the long-standing statistics that we have that show that the girl child is not as educated. We don't take the same opportunities for the girl child as we've taken for the boy child due to cultural nuances. Traditionally, we believe that we should, educate the boys and not the girls. So let's go further up the pipeline. You do have girls who on graduation start and compete as well as the boys in terms of their careers, in terms of paid employment, and we're seeing a lot more of them now in terms of entrepreneurship. However, what tends to happen over time is, again, they tend to drop out when it's time perhaps to have a family. So it's really down sometimes to the choices that are made. And what we must do to try and balance things out is make sure that the choices that are open to women are actually more. So what are those things making them drop out? What are, for example, the reasons why midway through your career, you have to make a choice to say, I need to focus on my home? What then can employers do to ensure that these women are given the opportunities? How can we expand the choices such that I can manage my home, manage my career, still look after my children? And sometimes it's very simple things like, do we have the facility for childcare?
Unemployment in Nigeria is not just about availability of jobs, but also about the education system producing the right type of manpower in the right quality and quantity to industrialize the country. State actors and stakeholders say many Nigerian youths are not employable because their skills are largely divorced from labor requirements.
I think, in my view, reviving our technical and vocational education and training systems, it's not optional. As a matter of fact, it's where we must go, pari passu, our other academic institutions like universities and co, such that you find that we have a lot more focus around disciplines, around trades, around disciplines, around specializations. We are I'm in a room now, and I'm in your station, where journalism is a profession, right? But then there are also certain skill sets, whether it's graphics, whether it's creatives, that work very well with your industry. Now, not all of the skill sets that you need in this radio house require a university degree. So a lot of them can be honed, right from even maybe senior secondary or even post-secondary through different diploma programs and things like that. Now, that's what we must do in terms of our skilling process, so that you have what you call a multiple pathway to your aspiration in life.
Vocational training is the key, is the answer. Germany, all industrialized nations, they all depend on these skills training. They have a robust, developed infrastructure for skills training. And so we cannot, no economy, no country can really move forward without having a developed structure, a developed ecosystem, a developed environment to train people, to send people for internship, or to train people, intern people, and eventually create employment for people. Because eventually it is those people who are trained, it is those people who have gone through internship, it is those people who have become employable who eventually becomes employers themselves.
But where are these vocational schools? There are just about 123 government-approved vocational schools across Nigeria. Aside this, there is also a certain stereotype that discourages students from enrolling in such schools.
The reason why some people don't like vocational work, depending on the area of specialization, you have to, when you want to work, you have to change your wares, and some don't like dirty work. Like me, I'm a plumber. People don't really know. Once I'm done in site and going home, people don't really believe that I'm a plumber, because maybe my stature or the way I look, so people don't really believe unless they see me while working on site.
So unfortunately, the number of people who are applying, to learn skill and all of that is still very low in number. And I actually understand why it is low in number. When you operate in an environment that glorifies certificate over skill, when you operate in an environment where the skilled workers are not properly paid, when you operate in that environment where there is no glory in having skilled work, of course, the youth will not be interested in that. But when you operate in a society that celebrates certification without adequate work, and that do not pay people living wages for their skills, then of course there's going to be very low interest in that particular field of work.
In the absence of white-collar jobs, many youth have turned to the informal sector, earning a living with small businesses and creating employment also. Presently, these small businesses account for 96% of businesses and 84% of employment in the country. Despite the significant contribution of SMEs to the Nigerian economy, the sector is still struggling with growth.
For me, there are three things. The first one is infrastructure. Power, for example, access to markets. When you are an SME or a member of the informal sector, if you are producing something in small quantities, after you've paid your rent, you've bought your raw materials, you have your equipment, you of course have to supplement power, because we don't have stable power in the country. So I think that's one of the major issues. Another issue is double tax or multiple taxation. A lot of businesses, there's no clarity on who they should be paying what taxes to. So for example, I once worked with one of the mobility startups in Lagos in the bike hailing space. And whilst we were, trying to speak with the LIRS, for example, about personal income tax or some basic tax from the drivers, we were obviously also having to deal with the unions, with their daily levies and all of that. So therefore, things like that will stifle businesses and informal sector players.
Although the informal sector may be having an influx of educated youth as players, there is also the snag of these graduates being majorly unequipped for entrepreneurship.
The world is moving from theoretical based learning to case-based learning, where you sit and you study case studies, you study practical lessons about scenarios, right, for business. I think it was Obasanjo, regime that tried to introduce entrepreneurship studies as one of the general GES courses or general studies courses. And, you look at the syllabus of that course, it's the same theoretical stuff, right? So there is nothing that prepares them properly for the challenges, for the realities, for the type of dynamics that they will be facing if they go out into the business world, right? If you look at the Igbo apprenticeship culture, it's an amazing learning point, because everything does not have to be. All your learning, your education doesn't have to come from the classroom, right? It does not always have to come from the classroom. So I think if government was serious enough, right, I would expect that the SMEDAN, for example, should have put in some type of structural support for the Igbo apprenticeship model, so that we can replicate those models across various societies.
The government acknowledges there is a bulging youth population with overwhelming unemployment figures. They, however, also insist they are addressing the problem.
The government has been consciously and in a deliberate manner trying to address the issue of the youth bulge. It's not just about the numbers. It's also about what are the needs of the variegated strata of the youth population. First, education is key, because education is power. Education is the greatest weapon against poverty. So the government has committed so much into education. There's emphasis on technical and vocational education, on the skills that you have.
Nigeria has not lacked special intervention programs. There are many of them. Yet, there are many unemployed youths as these intervention programs have failed in dropping the increasing unemployment rates. Critics argue that these programs are unimpressive.
For the intervention, or rather the interventions of the government, I'm going to score them high on intention and I'm going to score them low on performance or on result. High on intention because the act of rolling out a lot of intervention schemes like the N-Power, You Win, and the various ones, including trader money, all to activate employment, shows that there are people thinking, there are people of good intention out there. But the method to which they've approached it and the results they're getting makes me score them low on it, because in 2021, it is not the role of government to be creating jobs for people or to be doling out money for individuals to grow their businesses. What the government needs to do are three, really, is to overall create an environment that allows employment to be created. Who create employment is businesses. So the government needs to create an environment that allows business to thrive and create employment, and thus doing, fight unemployment.
Government will tell you, BOI, CBN, all of these guys, they'll tell you that we are providing interventions for MSMEs. So we have this 10 billion, we have this 100 billion for MSMEs. And then they will give you the guidelines. And then in the guidelines, you will see that they need you to be registered with CAC, they need you to have a bank account, they need you to have a business plan, they need you to have a financial statement. Look, that already by design excludes majority of those in the MSME space.
To bridge its unemployment gap, experts say Nigeria will have to create 5 million jobs annually for the next 10 years. Is the Nigerian government ready to tackle this problem? If Nigeria is to turn its large youth population into an advantage, then Nigeria has to rapidly reduce the disastrously high rates of youth unemployment.
You see, luckily and unluckily for us, we are an underdeveloped country. And most of what we have, what we need, we don't have enough of them. We don't have enough schools. We don't have enough hospitals. We don't have enough, almost anything. I can't think of anything that we have enough of. That problem of scarcity of assets should become the solution to our problem, in the sense that we should just sit down and try to create what we lack. To create what we lack, we need to think of what is needed. Why is it that we're not producing, and why is it that we're not consuming what we produce? Why is it that there is no urge to produce? Why are we having more pastors and politicians than manufacturers? If we want to boost Made in Nigeria, for example, I think we need to sit down and say, the first thing we need to do is perhaps create 5,000 production managers as a pilot scheme across the country, so that each one of them will go to different areas and specialize in one sort of production or the other. I repeat, I'm insisting on production, knowing fully well that where there is production, accountants will be needed, photographers will be needed, salespeople will be needed. The core of progress since the Industrial Revolution lies in production.
They really need to go fast because boys are not smiling, and then it can lead to early bloodshed. Early bloodshed in the sense that there will be serious competition. Boys need to smile again. Boys are willing to get their hands on anything just for this bar. And the government, if they are this slow, they will not be able to withstand what will come.
Nigeria is witnessing an increase in entrepreneurs, startup companies, and small and micro-scale businesses. Economists say one of the major reasons for this is a problem that has plagued the country: unemployment. Many Nigerians spend several years at home jobless before securing their first jobs or settling for other options. The National Bureau of Statistics puts the country's unemployment rate at 33.3%, the highest on record. Rather than sit at home and complain, more young people are becoming innovative and turning their hobbies into businesses. Olayanwaju sold clothes in his undergraduate days to make extra income. He now does the same thing, but this time around to make a living.
It came as a motivation for me since my university period, because I actually went into selling of NYSC kits, selling all these basic minor clothes. Then after a while, after going to service, it occurred to me that the kind of set of people I roll with, this is what is going on in town. This is the fashion store. This is the brand. And I've been known as Roger Wears. So why is Roger Wears still selling this? Why can't he just move up from this business into the main industry?
Samuel Joy learned to cut hair during her days of unemployment. It's now what she does for a living.
Actually, it hasn't really been easy though, but a lot of challenges ahead of it, and some I've faced though, and it's cool. But I love it being, I was once a tomboy. That's when I learned barbing. And ever since then, I think I've been able to convince people to believe my skills.
Unemployment and poverty also forced Willie to be a barber on the streets of highbrow Victoria Island in Lagos.
When I was growing up, my father actually wanted me to do something good. He wanted me to go to school, wanted me to have a good grades in school. Well, you know the system in the country. When after the school stage, you come back, you graduate from school, you still don't have good jobs out there.
On the flip side, unemployment has led to the stagnation of some individuals who find it tough to adapt because of their specializations. Wale Scott, a professional sports broadcaster, lost his job at the peak of his career. His unemployment journey lasted about 7 years. Moving on and getting another job was more difficult than he had imagined it would be.
A Wale Scott with all that talent doesn't have a job. But I realized that every office I went to, when I picked myself up, when I get there, the guys who are in my department there are like, I beg, I space no day, because they have job security problems. As in, if this guy comes, he's going to take our job. That was my major reason why I didn't get a job that early. Everybody felt like, it's good. If he comes, he's going to take our job and all that. So I didn't get a job for a long time.
All this doesn't mean there aren't people who still get white-collar jobs. But what factors make some people employable and others unemployable?
As a job seeker, you need to position yourself to get that fresh information. The longer a job opening is out there, the reduced or the more reduced your chances as a job seeker to get shortlisted. So that's the first thing first is the information and the network. Then the next step is actually your own preparedness, which is your documents, your marketing tool, your CV. Anything that will sell you best should come first on your CV or should be prominent on your CV. There are some schools that if you are a graduate of that school, just put it at the bottom of your CV. So if your CV is a 3-pager, let it be maybe like the second to the last item on your CV. There are some schools that you need to put proudly on the first page because those schools are considered to be thorough and rigorous in their processes. So how do you apply? If you're applying to an online portal, fine, you have to upload your CV still. Or you could apply to an email. Usually such vacancies, there's always an email for you to send your email. So when applying, ensure that you're applying properly. And the basic rules are the subject must be
the job title you're applying for. So for instance, if it's an accounting role, the subject should be accountant or accounting opening, something like that.
Everybody's got talent, but are you actually the right talent for that particular role? Then again, what exactly are you prepared? When I mean the right talent, you have the right skills, you have the right qualification, experience. So all this, and also it has to do with your behavioral attributes for the role. So if you have all this, yes, maybe you could actually get qualified for the role. But when you don't have this, it becomes like a misfit for the role. What makes people unemployable is also a determinant of your readiness. Are you available? Are you actually what we want for that role?
At a point in my life, I actually did consider it. And I was back in school. I did consider going into Yahoo Yahoo.
All right, so what changed your mind?
It's something that when I tried to, I felt this adrenaline rush of being scared of being caught, being scared of sitting in jail. It's something that I did try for like a week, not even, it didn't take up to 2 weeks, just a week. And within that week, it's something I understood that, no, this is no way for me. Because, for example, there are a lot of youths that are just like me in these same markets that were into this business. And I've seen a whole lot of them that have bought cars just from this business, that have gotten a house just from this business.
There is no lady that is willing to do something that is illegal. Yeah. It's just due to the, what is it called? The bad economy in our country. Because I see myself as somebody that has really been focused from my childhood. There are some ladies that doesn't have patience in doing some things.